Okay, so this follows on from the tutorial from last lesson. You should have created or started to create a simple game. We've put a scene in and we put in a alien, which is our actor. So it might look something like this. I've added a few other actors which you will by the end of the next tutorial. So if we go back to our actor from last lesson, go to our events, you should have put in the controls to control the actor to go right and left. You might have had a hero speed of 20 and then you might have changed that to create an attribute, and if you haven't done that you need to go back, finish that tutorial before you move on to this. Okay, so if you've done the left and right, which is along the x-axis, you should then effectively copy the commands across but use the Y, so the hero, or sorry, the actor goes up and down the screen. So let's just test that. Okay, so it goes left and right, up and down. The only problem is, if I keep my finger on the arrow, the actor will disappear off the screen. So what we've got to do in this tutorial is figure out a way to keep him on there. So we're going to make a new event, so add event, basics, when updating. It's a little bit more complicated than the last one. So we always start with the always. We're going to go to an if, and I'm going to choose a comparison by right clicking in here, and I'm going to use a less than. Okay. Last time we used the motion. Okay, this time we're just going to use the position, and we know that the axis along the left to right is the x-axis. So I'm going to say, sorry, wrong one actually. Sorry, it is position, yep. So if the x of our self is incredibly annoying, aren't they, to put in correctly. Let's move it over. Okay. So if the x of ourself is less than a 0, we know the leftmost point is 0. So if it's less than 0, it's going to go off the screen. So we need to set the x position to 1. So it actually will never get less than 0. So we need now to put an otherwise if. So otherwise, if it's not going off the left, okay, it's going to be going on the other side, so I'm going to use a greater than comparison. And I know I'm going to need a minus. I'm going to right click again, choose a maths. Okay, so again, if the x is greater than the screen width, I think one of these commands is screen width. Rather than me spend time looking, just type it in and it will bring it up quickly. So if the x is greater than the screen width, so i.e. if it's larger than over here, then we need to minus the width. So again, type in our command. Yep, there we are. So we need to minus the width of our self. That way we will never disappear off the screen over here. So let's set If we do go off on the right, we need to set right click, put some math commands in. One more. So again, we're going to choose the screen width. So set X to the screen width minus the width of the actor. Minus 1. Okay, so if we save this, test it, so you should stay on the screen. Great, that works. Okay, so rather than type all those commands in again, you can actually go on here, click, you can copy it, right click, paste. Okay, the only thing we have to do here is obviously we're going to look at the y-axis now, so we'll change everything for y. Rather than the screen width, it's obviously now going to be the screen height. So if we change all of these commands, okay, so if you save that, you should then have adjusted the height as well. So your character should not go off the screen. Let's try going up. Okay, great. So he goes up, goes down,